You see a zebra at the zoo and think, that's just a striped horse. And physically, you're not wrong. But psychologically, zebras and horses are nothing alike. And that's why one changed human history, and the other is still just there. Early humans lived in Africa surrounded by zebras. They had thousands of years to domesticate them before horses even entered the picture. So why didn't they? Because zebras are, to put it bluntly, bastards. They don't have the kind of social structure domestication needs. Horses live in herds with predictable leadership and flexible dominance. There's a clear order, and that order can transfer. Tame the leader, and humans can step into that role. Zebras do form groups, but their structure doesn't translate into cooperation. Catch one, and the rest don't reorganize around you or follow. There's no loyalty you can leverage. On top of that, they're violent. Zebras bite and kick with real intent, and in a pre-penicillin world, that mattered. They actively resist restraint and don't habituate to humans. Horses evolved high social tolerance. Zebras evolved under constant predation pressure to fight and flee first. Domestication isn't taming. Taming means you capture an animal and train it not to panic around humans. Domestication means you selectively breed animals over generations to alter their biology and behavior. You're sculpting a species to serve human needs. We did this with sheep, bred the fluffiest ones until they became walking wool factories. We did it with pigs, turning wild boars into pork machines. But domestication only works if the species meets specific criteria. Zebras fail almost every test. Start with temperament. An animal has to be safe enough that humans can work with it without dying. Large, obligate carnivores are out. Murder is their profession. Plenty of herbivores are just as bad. Buffalo are tanks. Hippos kill more people in Africa than any other large animal. Giraffes look awkward until you realize their striking range keeps lions away. Animals that aren't dangerous are often too skittish. Gazelles bolt at the slightest movement. Even if you exhaust one, it'll break its neck trying to escape or leap out of whatever enclosure you build. Zebras sit in the worst zone, aggressive enough to injure you, reactive enough to resist capture, and equipped with reflexes that make them nearly impossible to restrain. Next, diet. A cow turns grass into steak. A tiger turns steak into tiger. One of those is energetically efficient, the other isn't. Pure carnivores fail on basic energy math. You need animals that eat things humans can't: grass, leaves, scraps, or omnivores that aren't picky and are worth the trouble. Pigs qualify, tigers don't. Zebras eat grass, so they pass this test. But diet alone doesn't get you domestication. Reproduction matters. The animal needs to breed readily in captivity and grow up fast. Pandas are the cautionary tale here. Humans have spent absurd amounts of time and money trying to get them to reproduce. Early humans needed animals that bred eagerly, not ones with narrow mating windows and fragile fertility. Domestication works when animal generations are shorter than human generations. A single clever human can make progress with pigs in their lifetime. Elephants? 2 years to produce a calf, years between births, close to a decade to maturity. You can tame elephants, capture them, train them, put them to work. But actual domestication would require accurate records over multiple human lifetimes and enormous resources. That's why war elephants only appeared in complex societies. If it's on a farm, it's domesticated. If it's in a circus, it's tame. Finally, social structure. This is where horses succeed and zebras fail hardest. Horse herds have clear, readable leadership and social rules that allow humans to insert themselves. Horses grow up treating humans like strange members of their own species. Chickens peck until they establish a hierarchy, and humans end up on top. Dogs bond, defend, and hunt with you because you're part of the pack. Cats are tiny tigers that live in your house. Different psychology entirely. Zebras don't make that leap. They associate in groups for safety, but they don't generalize leadership and they don't transfer trust. Try to ride one and you'll lose fingers. They look like horses, but they run on completely different social software. So here's the checklist. Friendly, feedable, fecund, family structured. It's short, but early humans needed animals that passed every criterion. That's why only about a dozen large animals were domesticated in early human history worldwide. Zebras fail on temperament and cooperative social structure. Horses pass everything. That's why horses became civilization-level tools. From thousands of years BC until the telegraph, a human on a horse was the fastest way to move information. Horses were domesticated in Eurasia and transformed societies. Humans started in Africa with zebras and got nowhere. It's not that early Africans were less capable. It's that zebras are fundamentally incompatible with domestication. They're built to survive independently, not cooperate. Domestication required the right biology and the right psychology together. Zebras had the biology. They lacked everything else.